The 17th of July 2018. I have written over 10 wedding-themed romances. That probably seems like a lot, but it's a world that offers so much potential for romance and even humor. I love the little details that come together to make the whole event seem special. There are always cool trends in cakes, flowers, gowns, and more to learn about, as well as lovely traditions from the past. I can find inspiration from flipping through a bridal magazine or watching an episode of the reality TV show Rich Bride, Poor Bride, or maybe a favorite wedding-themed movie. Hallmark Channel's June Weddings event is right up my alley. Laura Briggs. I like trying new ice cream flavors. Ice cream is such a perfect summer treat, especially flavors with cool mint or blackberry, for instance. One of my new favorite summer flavors involves those ice cookies that come in the shape of circus animals. Of course, the autumn and Christmas flavors are wonderful too. Pecan pie ice cream, anyone. Reading wasnt. Exactly my favorite pastime as a child. Don't get me wrong, I had some favorite books back then, but I didn't really start to love reading until I was almost a teenager. But eventually I enjoyed reading everything from classics to modern novels. And later on, I ended up majoring in English in college. I wrote my first published work a couple of years after graduation, a short romance story about a bookstore owner who pairs with a dashing author to save her brick-and-mortar shop from closing down. It had lots of quirky side characters and a fun, light-hearted style I hoped would transport readers to a charming world just perfect for book lovers. Vintage dress styles are among my favorites. There are just so many classy and awesome styles from the past. I have a few pieces in my wardrobe that mimic the styles of the 40s and 50s, and I love breaking them out for special occasions. Since one of the characters in my latest series is a fashion designer, I look up lots of stylish gowns for inspiration when imagining the various pieces she might create. My favorite Jane Austen novel is Sense and Sensibility. Yes, Pride and Prejudice is brilliant, and Mr. Darcy probably is Austen's greatest hero, but there's something about Sense and Sensibility that really captures me as a reader. The copy I was given for Christmas as a teenager is looking pretty worn out now, but it's still my favorite one to read. I love the wit behind Austen's writing and the way she keeps you guessing as to how things could possibly turn out happily with all the obstacles she throws in her characters' paths. I love visiting new places. Travel isn't something I get much time for, but I do love the thrill of visiting somewhere new. I have been lucky enough to see many places in England, including lots of sites famous for the literary connections. As a book buff, it was amazing to visit the Bronte Parsonage Museum, Wordsworth's Dove Cottage, and especially Jane Austen's house in Chawton. Connecting with other people in the book world is amazing. This is something I learned early in the process of being a writer. Fellow book lovers are just so much fun to network with. Book bloggers and fellow authors alike have made my experience of being a writer so much more enjoyable. It's especially amazing to connect with those from different parts of the world. I now have many lovely contacts in the UK, for instance, as well as Canada and Australia. Most of my favorite TV shows are on PBS, from Endeavour and Grantchester to Sherlock and Shetland. I adore so many shows from across the pond. And, of course, there are exciting historical dramas, Downton Abbey and Poldark. And don't get me started on the Great British Bake Off. If only I could try all those fantabulous looking recipes. I had the talent to do so, lol. I love snow. A white Christmas is a fairly rare event where I live, which makes it all the more memorable when we do have one. I adore a good December snow, especially when paired with hot chocolate and a classic Christmas movie. Sometimes I build a soundtrack for my books. Working to music isn't always helpful. Sometimes I really need silence to get words on the page. But other times, it's nice to have a playlist I've tailored for the manuscript I'm working on. I have pretty broad taste in music, big band, pop, 80s country, classic rock, and much more.